Welcome, everyone. I really want to see everyone, so... Hello, everyone! Great to be here. We really haven't done a big events like this, and I really miss it. It's really right to be here, talking to you guys, drinking beer, talking about the next ideas. We really want to have a good time today, and it's perfect that we just make the announcement earlier today. We have a few more ideas. Most of all, finally we see each other. We have a few projects for sure, Axie Infinity with us today, that we want to talk about how NFT is going to change the world, how many more products, DAO, that we can do together. I think that's the key idea. But I don't want to be the spotlight today. I want to talk about the product that you can try, but most of all, to bring out our special guests right away. Come on, we have a special guest. I don't think he wants to climb up here, right?
We can sit, maybe.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, I think half of the people come for him tonight, right? So let's give him a really big welcome. So definitely someone that I met many years ago and finally got to meet again in San Francisco. It's really strange, but nothing much that I need to make introduction. So I'll just love to have him say a few words, and I'll love to add to the story as well.
Yeah, it's amazing to see everybody who's come out tonight. I feel like I've been so isolated through COVID, sitting in my room. It's really surreal to see so many people out in force today. So yeah, thanks for coming. Yeah, welcome, and yeah, hopefully you guys have a good time tonight. And yeah, thanks for coming.
Well, that's not goodbye for sure. Let me play the host, because when Harmony started back in 2018 and did the road trip to Vietnam, right after Binance conference, we met a really special guy there that just want to make games, just want to really look at all these beautiful Axie. At that time, I still didn't get the airdrop, but I get to know, I actually know him by Jeffrey by that time. So someone crazy enough after Yale and studying history, just want to hang out in Vietnam developing games. I thought it was really special. I met them, the whole team, but also many of the Vietnam blockchain founders, projects. So Harmony at that time was just starting and didn't even know much happening in Vietnam, let alone the whole NFT scenes and all these games possible on blockchain. So I definitely want to ask, how has the Vietnam experience defined the Axie Infinity?
Definitely. So I actually met my co-founders of Axie Infinity on Discord playing CryptoKitties, right? So it's kind of like a new age story of how co-founders can meet anyone, anywhere across the world. So when I found Axie, I was just a community member. I fell in love with the concept. It was only 6 words, right? You could see, you couldn't even see your Axies at that time, but we had this community that was super excited. I started getting involved, and I decided to dedicate my life to it. So I kind of dropped everything. I moved out of New York. I gave my dog to my parents, and I moved to Vietnam. So it was a really special experience. I lived there for 2 years, from 2018 to basically 2020. And I think it's a really special story because, right, traditionally Southeast Asian founders, right, have not been able to penetrate these global markets. And have not been able to, right, attract capital from anyone, right? It's always been, okay, maybe you're making an e-commerce product for your local market, right? So I think it's been really special, and I miss Vietnam. I wish that I could be back there right now. Came to the U.S. and it's been amazing to kind of see the offline connections that are possible. Things are actually really great in SF right now. We're lucky to be able to gather together. In Asia, it's just not even possible. So,
yeah, someone to give up New York, if not US, and just hang out in Asia for a few years and building out the passion. Seems like the story of crypto, I would say. But more than Vietnam, you have visited a few places as well. In particular, Philippines, right? Is really the story of Axie Infinity. Maybe you tell some story about like some, maybe at least Vietnam versus Philippines from your heart.
Sure. So I feel like I should also. I think we may have attracted some people who are not so familiar with crypto and NFTs as well. So I'll just talk briefly about what Axie is. So Axie is a game, and it's built using NFTs. So Axies are creatures. This is an Axie right here. They're kind of round. You can battle them. You can collect them. You can actually use them to earn real cryptocurrencies with value. Our goal is to introduce the world to something that's a little bit scary and new, blockchain, through something that's relatable and fun and nostalgic, right? Nostalgia is the most powerful of human emotions. So yeah, that's Axie, right? I think it's been gaining more traction recently. I think we just hit 1.5 million daily active users. I think we've done $1.8 billion of NFT volume, making it the #1 NFT project of all time. But yeah, I think what we need to do as an industry is to show this human element, right? Like I think recently in the last couple of days, right, like we've seen that we're kind of under attack by the regulators, right? They don't understand crypto. And I think, like, to be honest, we don't necessarily do an amazing job of portraying ourselves to the outside world, right? Well, a lot of people, when they think about crypto, they think about trading, they think about like just prices and speculation. So I think the next wave, it really needs to be about showing concrete use cases that are helping everyday people. And yeah, hopefully Axie can be a big part of that narrative.
I didn't expect to talk about SEC and regulation, but of course we should care about. But would you have a take on Philippines versus Vietnam for the Axie Infinity community?
Sure. So what we've seen is, right, there's this documentary that came out called Play to Earn, talking about these people who have been surviving playing Axie in the Philippines. So yeah, I think it's a real tangible story. We have actually a large community in Vietnam as well, but the Philippines is where I think around 40% of our players are. I think there's a lot of people ask me, like, why did this happen, right? I think, it's a combination of like local heroes, people on the ground who helped super early on. Also, right, this is a population that speaks English. They love mobile gaming. They're very community and family oriented, so things just spread like wildfire.
Also based on just studying history, but also like to play games and design games, you mentioned about the element of human in games design, about the nostalgic. That is very clear to see, right? What people probably don't see, and maybe I would say didn't expect. When I met you 3 years ago, I definitely didn't expect it, to get the token economics right? Understanding how many tokens to mint, how the yield process, how the SLP will be different. Maybe you have some thoughts also about like how to really create community around tokens as well.
Sure. So first, I would say that a lot of people in crypto, they care a lot about mechanism design, but I think first and most important is community design. So if you have the human element, if you have a large and vibrant and diverse community, then the economics will in time like fall into place. That said, yeah, it is an entire new, I think, school of thought that's being developed around balancing these real money game economies. There are some historical parallels that we can look at, but a lot of it is stuff that's just totally new. So I think, yeah, it is, right. It's very important to be data oriented. I think like that's one thing that blockchain also helps with, right? Because a lot of the data that we even look at to help balance the economy, these are analytics tools that are actually being built by the community volunteers and things like that. So yeah, I think there is I think the community is really important, and actually like it's the social capital that backs up the in-game economy. And I think that's maybe something that a lot of people don't really understand, and maybe confuses them when they look at Axie.
And also very early on, you decided to have your own infrastructure, if not called layer 2, to make sure that all these game can be really done on-chain. even though Flow and CryptoKitties and all these other like games companies talk about like games on blockchain, right? You're very early on, I would say, inventing an infrastructure to make sure that it would be a very much an on-chain ledger for all the gamers to think about what they own, they can transfer. Maybe you will even compare how Dapper Labs and Flow compare to what the approach Axie Infinity took.
Sure. So I think like the story of Axie has always been, okay, we're building the next feature, and hopefully when we put them all together, it's gonna work, right? So first we tried to make, right, like the art. At first it was the text, right? And then we added the art, and then we added, okay, there's a marketplace now, and then, okay, you can breed them. And then we had an auto battle system. Okay, that auto battles was not enough. We even tried to put the battles on chain at first, right? And like ran into a lot of issues. So I think we are maybe the first case, right, where we've put all the different pieces together, where you have scalable infrastructure, you have this amazing community, you have a fun enough game, and your kind of own like growth mechanisms. So in terms of the infrastructure, right? I think like we looked at it as, what are the things that our players really want? They want property rights. They want to be able to buy and sell to anyone, anywhere in the world. They want to own the game, and like let's start with that, right? So I think we start with like very we always try and go with the simplest, most elegant technical solution to solve the problems of our users without like trying to get like too dogmatic and idealistic. I think we're very pragmatic, right? Like in blockchain, we often have like, right, you have like decentralization maximalists as well, or and there's just people who have like their ideals, and sometimes that can hinder progress and adoption. So I think like we're moderates in that, we've always listen to our users. I think that's one of our blessings, is that we've had users telling us what they want, whereas a lot of developers, they're building in a black box, right? Building for some hypothetical either developer or user that doesn't exist yet.
It's really incredible. You started with CryptoKitties, and now you really build a game economy. I would say as comparable, if not bigger than Dapper Labs, many of the products. But the giants are still out there, right? China, Korea, they've been talking about games on blockchain for the longest time. And I would also say Korea in particular, they're actually very, very progressive and building lots of products as well. China, I would say a little bit hindered by like different market forces, if not the government. What would be your take about the China and Korea market, specifically about games on blockchain?
We're looking at it. I think so. A lot Korean and Chinese engineers are really good at scaling like game servers. So that's one, I guess, like advantage that they have. I think that they have a lot of like regulatory headwinds where it's difficult for them to really understand what the government is going to let them do. So, and they're doing well, right? Like these companies are, like if I were in their shoes, I wouldn't make an NFT game because they're already doing well enough. And to be honest, by integrating blockchain, they might alienate 50% of their users. It's actually like a lot of my counterparts might not say this, but actually around 40 to 50% of gamers really hate crypto. They really hate blockchain. So if you're like a traditional game developer and you decide to do an NFT integration, you're actually going to alienate a lot of your users. So I kind of see that as one of our moats, is that I'm very bullish on crypto native IP, grassroots movements that kind of build from zero rather than trying to tack on this technology to an existing user base.
And the grand vision of games and NFT obviously is the Metaverse, right? Not only that you guys take the IP and the user ownership very seriously, do you also see what are the exciting things coming that really going to be one true Metaverse, so that all the games, all the asset, all the Axie that will jump to end of the games and be able to play? Do you see that Metaverse forming this year, and what will be the things that we can look forward to?
It's difficult, right? Like Metaverse is a loaded term, and everyone wants to know what everyone else thinks about it. I think that our understanding of the Metaverse might be shaded by Hollywood, right? Like we kind of have this like, maybe Ready Player One inspired understanding of what it might look like. I'm not sure if that's necessarily the case, right? I think like what are some of the characteristics that I might look for? I might look for anyone, anywhere being able to form deep economic and social relationships with anyone, anywhere in the world. That's kind of like my understanding of it. I think, right, like cryptocurrencies being able to easily port value from one ecosystem to another makes a lot of sense. NFT interoperability is very difficult. I think we'll first have to experiment with vertical interop, which is like, for example, we have one team of Axies that you can use in many different games. So that might be an initial version of it. I think like we need to think about what are the benefits of the metaverse, right? It's like people being able to have these substantial kind of like trust-based relationships, but also economic relationships with people that they've never met. I think that's like the one thing that I think of when I think of the metaverse.
I think the last question would be, what will be the roadmap that you want to tell the crowd, whether Axie Infinity or you expect that you can help to lead the whole crypto gaming industry forward?
I'm really excited about introducing. So 50% of our users have never used crypto before. 75% of them have never used NFTs before Axie. So I think 25% of them don't have a bank account, right? So I think we have a lot of opportunities to introduce users to kind of financial applications, maybe even issuing a card to our players. I think that that's something that the world will find really noteworthy. I'm really excited for a lot of the talent that we're onboarding, some like top tier game designers. I think that rather than these AAA game studios adopting NFTs, I think what you'll see is some of their top game designers who are crypto curious will start to peel off and kind of sign up with teams like us. So I'm excited to make the game more accessible, more fun, to expand the definition of what the game even is. Right now it's a card battler. We have a land-based game that's under construction. Long term, I hope that the majority of the content will also be churned out by the community, kind of like in a Roblox fashion. So.
Well, super excited for you guys. Hopefully everyone will go back and earn more Axies and be part of the metaverse. Well, thanks for joining us today again. Yeah. Thanks. So today I want to introduce my good friend talking about a new project called Timeless.
Well, thanks everyone for participating in this real live event because it's been a while. So, a little backdrop. I think the key takeaway from just the conversation you had is community is very important, and I think I'm very proud to be a member of this community for more than 3 years. So, in terms of like what we're building, I think it's really kind of trying to create a gateway or the entry point for the metaverse. I think the most exciting thing about the metaverse is every one of us, if you look right and left, like the metaverse has the final chapter, the blueprint has not been written yet. So it's actually incumbent on us, for all of us, to actually define what it is. And the project we've been working on is really kind of an entry point where all the different events, whether being in real life or in the digital kind of verse, you can actually find out about it, discover these upcoming events, or whether it be an NFT drops or kind of a gathering, you can discover these and be able to participate as early as possible. So that kind of give everyone an equal opportunity to become the OG of whatever that's interesting to you. So what's really most fascinating about, I think the larger kind of the Web3 or blockchain kind of a community build up in the past 10 plus years is this larger momentum to basically be more grassroots. And we're really fundamentally believing in that. And if you want to learn more about Timeless, definitely check it out, timeless.space. And I think the kind of an early precursor to what we're doing is, I think in the coming days, we're going to be dropping one of our NFTs with Harmony, right, into all the participants in today's event. And that's kind of what I mean by that, right? Like, let's actually build up this, right? So there should be 1,000, if not millions, different subcultures, and everyone should be able to participate in these NFT drops. And I think Timeless is really trying to accomplish that. So everyone can feel part of this community. Everyone have an equal opportunity to have this access.
Absolutely. Timeless as a curated DAO for all these NFT moments that you will start collect today, right? So Z already talked about quite a bit about the events and the real life interactions that become the NFT of your life. Maybe you can talk about the curator part of it as well.
So I don't know about you guys, right? But in the past, I mean, we all grew up kind of being part of the larger machinery where people are telling you what's popular. I mean, if you look left and right, everyone's trying to tell you, this should be fucking cool, right? This should be awesome. But I fundamentally do have an issue with that because I think every one of us should become a tastemaker. And there's a fundamental difference in terms of like participating something that's popular, defined by someone else, or having the opportunity to say, you know what, I have certain interests and I know this thing particularly well. So you can become a kind of a curator for different subcultures. And that's the fundamental thing that we're trying to develop. How do we get to the elemental level where everyone can become a curator of different interesting projects or different interesting ideas? So whether you're interested in sneakers, whether you're interested in certain type of art, certain type of music, you can all become a curator. And all these curation can be meant as NFT and share with your community. And that's kind of really the full cycle where timeless.space is a gateway for you to discover these things. The transactional vehicle is NFT. And every single community member can participate in this curator DAO. And you can actually create these different subcultures.
So the curation part is actually what many of us every day is doing, right? How do we extend that, as the last question here, to think about is a DAO for really capturing all these cultural moments, your cultural values? I think really, what is your DAO thinking into this venture that you want to bring many more people into crypto and NFT?
Yeah. I think DAO is kind of fun. It taps into the fundamental. I think many of us who are participating in crypto is because there is something fundamentally rotten about the economy or the kind of the current corporate-driven type of system, right? Where, I mean, how many of you would like love to say, hey, you know, I wish I was part of the early, you know, let's say, I don't know, Facebook or Apple, you know, kind of the larger entity buildup, or even the larger network like Airbnb, right? I think DAO is a fundamental reaction, especially for our generation, to say, you know what, I want to participate as early as possible based on my own interests, and I should have early access to anything that I want to. And I think DAO is just such an amazing kind of a concept. It's not just the kind of the philosophical reminiscence anymore. It's really saying, I want to be able to create. I want to be able to participate in the ownership of whatever that's interesting to me. So that's, I think, the fundamental thing about the creator economy, the passion economy, the ownership economy. They all kind of lead, all these different ideas leads to this culmination of DAO. And I think that's something that's very exciting. And I'd love to learn to and talk to you more about it, you know, after this event. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, Z. Really, it's the future of work and the future. Thinking about Z after 10 years at Google, having been a creative director for the Android team, having been the director for Google X research, and now thinking about the future for the culture and the DAO and the moments that you can capture is really fascinating. Well, thank you again for Timeless. Yeah. All right, last of all, John. Actually, it turned out to be another Googler, but super excited to have John to talk about a NFT DAO.
Hey guys, I'm like a fledgling compared to like Steven and Jiho, but I founded a startup called Seasonz, SZNS.io. How many of you know Pleaser DAO? Cool. So you can almost view us as a Pleaser DAO as a service. So we have a NFT fractionalization platform where users can create an album, which is a collection of NFTs that's fractionalized. And then those ERC20 token holders can, under our governance framework, perform arbitrary governance actions to actually use the NFTs. So fundamentally, I guess why I started building is I view building in Web3 as like an opportunity to improve from like Web2 world, right? So if you look at the like traditional art world, a artist like studies art for all of her life, but she is unlikely to own, like, let's say Rothko ever. So I think it's like, it's uniquely very like disproportionate in terms of like the dedication that somebody gives to their life and the type of ownership they're able to have. So rather than in the traditional world, art being reserved exclusively for the rich, I think in Web3, through fractionalization, you open up the concept of ownership to a lot of people. So I think fractional.art has taken this model and shown like a very good product market fit where they fractionalize CryptoPunks, and now people can actually get upside into, let's say, the appreciation of CryptoPunks. But I think there's a lot more to fractionalization than just like the finance aspect. So when you think about like what NFTs are, they have like utility, right? So how many of you know like Loot project? Cool, yeah. So right now, the current existing fractionalization platforms, they like fractionalize loot so people can start owning loot. But it's held up in like a vault, so nobody can actually use the loot. So when there's something called like a venture gold, it's like a random project that was dropped, and then this loot that was held up in a vault and fractionalized can no longer be used to claim the adventure gold. So on Seasonz, when you fractionalize an NFT, now those people can perform a governance action to say, let's use this NFT to claim the adventure gold. So we're creating DAOs for NFTs. So I think that's a pretty exciting opportunity. And I guess a shout out to Harmony because, well, so we're building on Ethereum, but I think we're moving toward an open multi-chain world. And I think, you know, fees, I mean, I love Ethereum. I grew up with it practically, but I think we are going to have like different chains hosting different kinds of NFTs. And I'm very excited to see kind of Harmony grow more and more because as an Ethereum developer, I would say building on Harmony is superior, not to compare products, to building on like something like Polygon because I mean you should check out their like Ethers.js support. It's really EVM compatible, so go Harmony. And since I'm like a small timer, if you guys could give me a follow on Twitter, it's JL2FA. It's like John Lee two-factor authentication, but JL2FA. And then I also run a validator on Harmony. She's called Granny Harmony. That's her Twitter handle. Binance recently like took out their 40 million won delegation. So if any of you here is from Binance, if I could have it back, that would be great. Yeah, and our Seasonz Twitter account is SZNS NFT. So give us a follow. We're gonna launch soon. So we're excited to like, I guess, show the world what we've built. And thank you. Yeah.
Well, hang on here. Yeah. Thank you, John, for the shout out, but also how excited he is to get all the Harmony One tokens from you to delegate to him. I would also say PleaserDAO is the story of this year. Of course, many of you know it's already on the Fortune magazine cover, but maybe you can tell a little bit of the backstory of that. Some of them may not know, but they may not even know the impact for the whole NFT crypto, maybe in your life, what PleaserDAO has been so different from all the other DAOs and all the other NFT projects.
I would say like I'm sure a lot of us like spend a lot of time on crypto and I mean on Twitter. So like CT is its own world, right? So you have like people in PleaserDAO who are kind of like setting our crypto culture. Like they got pictures of like central people on the Fortune magazine, and we look at that as like enjoyers and participants in crypto and say, yeah, that's like this is our kind of like identity. I think it's like I see a world where like we see more and more of PleaserDAOs, and I think what they're doing is very cool. Like it's a collective that have strong opinions about like views on crypto, and they want to make an impact and spread their narrative by collecting what they believe are valuable NFTs. And on Seasonz, we'd like to enable anyone to create their own like NFT collections as friends, and yeah.
And I think that's the paradox here, to have fractionalized ownership, but also to have a collective governance in a DAO, right? Do you see that as a conflict? Do you see that's really the frontier of innovation?
So the fractionalization is more about accessibility, and then I believe DAOs are more of empowerment where you're giving these people, let's take like the existing model. Right now, if you're a fractional token owner, the only thing you are waiting for is a buyout. So it's effectively you're taking a bet on somebody coming in and buying out your NFTs above the reserve price. I think there is an exciting opportunity where, like with loot, what if you actually have like a DAO of particular loot parts, and they are able to hold those NFTs and start to like really build out their own micro economy of sorts. I actually before Seasonz, I built is Jiho still here? I built Axie, which was like Axietree.com, which is a lending and borrowing platform for Axies when they were on Ethereum. And then like I am waiting for Axies to come back into the bridge to Ethereum again, because imagine an Axie DAO where like the best fighting Axies are held together in a DAO, and you're going to have tournaments, and this DAO can actually lend out the best fighting Axies to like people who want to like use it to fight in tournaments. And there's a lot of like different models you can have. Like the winner would then have like revenue sharing models. If you win with the Axies that I've lent you as a DAO, you're going to give me, let's say, 20% of the tournament winnings. So like there's a lot of different opportunities that I think NFTs open. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, John. And best of luck for the launch. So everyone need to ask and follow him on Twitter to get the token launch very soon. JL2FA. Follow him on Twitter and really learn more about how excited he is about the NFT DAO. Thank you again, John. So again, this is pretty much it for all our speakers, but I just really want to make a few announcements for Harmony as well. Hopefully we'll drink until midnight. I don't know whether they open until then. To really celebrate many of the moments in crypto, I would say. It just so happened today, Harmony had a few announcements that I really want you to know about and try our new products. Most of all, super happy to be here hosting with the San Francisco developer and the blockchain community. Many of them has been really doing every week, gathering this crowd, getting this place for us. We really want to do a shout out, maybe at the end, maybe bring out the folks after I say a few things. First of all, I want to say that to be a smart contract platform in 2021 is super exciting. So much more innovations to have. To really think about, we are just starting, because there's only 1% people overall that has adopted blockchain, that have used any crypto products, that own any NFT, is why we are still so early, that you and I just met today, and it's only day one for the journey ahead. When I started 4 years ago, I was like, oh, there's already Bitcoin and Ethereum, what can I do? If you look back the last 4 years, that's what we have done together as an industry, as all these products launching. And I would challenge you to look ahead 1 year, 4 years from now, how the whole industry would have been, could have been, that you will be part of. How many really want to serve as a platform to think about if everyone would use that for the economics of the asset, collectibles, governance, as well as the games? What would that future look like? We don't need to be Ethereum. We don't need to kill off Bitcoin to make it happen, is what I believe. Because everything in your life, all the assets that we ask governments to take care of, banks to be custody of, you will experiment now with any community that you want. And that's why Harmony is announcing $300 million into fund. 300 millions, right? It's really insane, right? We started 4 years ago raising a few millions, and today we're asking how to give it back the money to the next builders, next creatives to be part of the journey. Our journey as a platform is not even finished yet. We really want to bridge to all the blockchain, help all the founders to get started with better SDK, easier onboarding. Most of all this innovation on security, zero knowledge proof, is only getting started. If you haven't played with one yet, because the rest of the world don't even know about it yet. But the 300 million is real because I just announced it today with Coinbase, CoinDesk, and what's not, that I want you to be part of. And that's why we put out this QR code as well as the onboarding page so that you can be part of it. Harmony.1/new, because I want you to have a new perspective. I want each of you to be the new friends in Harmony. We say we will be creating wealth in Harmony with everyone around you is our mission. We say whether you are builders or creative, this is the time to build and we want you to be part of it. We call it the basic income or minimal pay. I don't know whether that will offend anyone when they really care about universal basic income. We actually published a research paper called Decentralized Basic Income. We really think the word harmony, we didn't copyright it, we didn't trademark it. We wish we had the domain name harmony.com, but we don't need it. We actually think the lowercase h is far more meaningful for me to keep talking about every day. Create wealth in harmony, the lowercase harmony, so that you can think about it's not a layer one war for me to win. It's not me talking about how much faster, cheaper a blockchain can be, but you and I will set out the journey to create wealth for the people around us. So with that 300 million fund, we're literally giving out grants. Once you meet this metric, have a testnet prototype, we have bounties for any bridges that you want to build, any zero knowledge proof cryptographic primitives that you want to play with. We have launch program that once you go through our hackathon, you acquire a few users, launch a DAO with us, that multi-sig on our chain, that we want to help you launch with a marketing campaign. We think that now that the crypto is not just about the price, investment, speculation, you can actually play to earn. That's why we call it one to earn, O-N-E, you are one of them. You are a builder, you are a creative, you are one that actually want to bring up the community to be part of, to earn. So as a matter of fact, if you just want to be part of it, we sell a timesheet that you just want to put in hours, we pay you $75, just so that you have a safety of like, probably not you in San Francisco, you probably have too many free beer, free pizza to care about collecting a few bucks. But trust me, when we talk about universal basic income, when we talk about anyone play games to earn, there's so much more of everyone around the world, hackathons that they should know about, product they can build together that we think is going to be very meaningful. Most of all, we're going to launch 100 DAOs. We really hope to fund them up to 1 million each so that you can be part of a DAO that you want. It will be the future of work. You don't belong to Harmony. You don't need to think about one layer one protocol to build on. You don't need to think about which company you want to work at, which city that you only will settle down. We think the future of work is you just jump to a DAO that you feel like you can contribute today. You'll be really aligned with this initiative, this deliverable this month, and you'll be contribute there the way that you want it. That's why we think that 100 DAO, the hardest thing is to really gather the few folks that you truly believe you want to spend months and maybe years with, but most of all with the fund and the goals that you both believe together. And Harmony is in a very lucky position, just like Ethereum Foundation before us, just like many of the Polkadot and developer-focused community before us, that we are finally in a position to ask, would you want to be thinking about a broader journey, not just building on Harmony, but be part of the bridge that bridge all the blockchain together? Part of the DAO that connect all the DAOs so that you have a DAO to DAO business. When you build a games, what are the Metaverse that actually is not just one game, that you can actually build the games that you like, complete permissionless. So that's all for us about Harmony. It's really about using the product today rather than giving you my white paper or the free tokens that I'm airdropping. We would like to announce not only the crypto Harmony punks that you'll be receiving as an NFT, we will also want to, once you create the one wallet, going to airdrop you of our own NFT that we are launching. So please give it a try of the wallet. But most of them now, where's Sam? Yeah. Yeah, or just a shout out here. So I want you guys to recognize all those people in blue t-shirt. So I want to shout out for a few people. So we have Leo, our VP of Eng. Talk to him anything about NFT. He only feel good NFT that he will show you if you just come look at his phone and wallet that he has. But also talk to you about any of the cross-chain NFT initiatives that we have. Jackie. Not only he finished the state syncing and built many of the base protocol, he also care about NFT to think about what will be the next cross-chain NFT tools that you may need. Next, RJ. Our CTO, my co-founder, that started so early on to think about sharding, proof of stake. We did it. 2-second finality. Thank you, RJ. Talk to him anything about optimization for the protocols. Next, we have Jack. Come on out. Give a big shout. All right. Our developer advocate. Whatever you need, whatever grants, bounties, help you need, talk to Jack. We'll get everyone go through all the ideas that you have. Make sure you guys will launch it. Whether through our hackathons or our launch grants, we'll make sure that happen. Next, we have Sam. The loudest guy on our team. Because we need someone like him to tell us why everyone is excited about DAO. He's our DAO guy. Endowment of Harmony. Sam has been talking to every DAO project. Every DAO project on Ethereum, we're launching, even on Polygon for sure. We actually talking to them. To us, it's fun to debate it out on Twitter, who is better and faster, but we are all on this journey together. Next, Colin. So excited that he has been helping us with all the Reddit and conversation. Now he actually not just organize event, but actually help us think about what are the initiatives that we can launch with our community. Yeah. Who else, Vera? Come on out. Come on. Just do a show. Come on. Again, this is Vera.
Everyone's Vera!
Woo! Again, super excited. Another person really into maps, geolocation. Now thinking about NFT to help us think about what will be interesting that we tie the virtual world metaverse, but also to the physical world. That I spent so many years on Google Maps and Apple Maps, and I meet another maps lady to think about what one world would be as an NFT. So talk to him about NFT and all the world asset that we can put on chain. Yeah, thank you very much. Come on, who else? You gotta come out so that I can shout. Boris! Boris, still going through of a Harvard master thesis. But already thinking about how to really bring the whole basic income on chain. So he's helping us to write that research paper to really make it into production. Bring the best research into production, think about the basic income, think about what would be a cross-chain API looks like. Ask him about all the crazy idea that after Venezuela and Colombia, growing up there, to think about what would be a new economy looks like. Anyone else? Yeah.
Oh, can we get Adrian?
Adrian!
Adrian! Put the spotlight on yourself!
Anyone know about the Dream Crazy Nike campaign? Adrian one day has an idea that talk about what will be an athlete on video, talk about his own journey. If you have a body, you are an athlete. That's what the Shoe Dog book talk about, the journey of Nike. And Adrian captured on video. He has been an audio engineer and now a videographer, really excited about this whole idea about create wealth in harmony. He's going to make a big video campaigns out of it. If you guys want to be really on video talking about your view, your opinion, what the world should be. He's the one going to amplify the idea for you. This is it. I need a few more beer so that I'll be all red and talking to you. Thank you everyone for coming today. Really enjoy the crowd. Really give us energy. Thank you.